I'm going to show you how to create tools and boxes, what we call boxes on AI Box's builder platform. You'll see when you open the, click to create a new tool over on the builder, you'll kind of see this page which is telling you to double click anywhere to add a model, or you can type what you want to build in the by builder. Okay, so we've gone ahead and typed out create a tool that takes an article title and generates 6 chapters and then has different nodes, right? 1,500 words for each chapter. The reason we've done that is because something that AI models traditionally are very bad at is generating really long blog posts or research papers or anything like that. And so typically they're going to give you maximum 3,000 words. So what we're going to do is actually get it to generate 6 different chapters, and then we're able to get it to do a much longer kind of article or document. Okay, so here we have it. It's gone ahead and generated the prompt, and it's saying, you're an expert content strategist and a long form writer. And it basically explains to it how it's going to generate this thing. And then it has all of the different chapters that are going to be written. If you go over to the design tab, it has, the rise and future of artificial intelligence in healthcare. This is an example title that it's put in there. And you can actually go and change that over here, right? They have variables. One of the variables is the article title. So what I like to do is click run all nodes, and then we're going to have it run through from start to finish, and it's using its sample inputs. So you can see that this is kind of what the article is going to be about in the example. The journalistic was kind of the default example for that one, and then the target audience. Now, right off the bat, you can see something here to edit. Like a funny thing is it has kind of this underscore target audience. You can just click on this, and you can change any of, you can go ahead and just change any of this, like you're editing the text, and it will instantly happen. We have the output that it's generated. So this is kind of going to be the 6 different sections, the 6 different chapters that it's went ahead and generated. And based off of this, it's now going and writing all of the different chapters. Now, I would usually go through and read this to make sure it's exactly what I want, right? So it says below is a complete 6-chapter outline for an article. So it's referencing that right here in outline. That's kind of this node coming in here. And it says instructions, write only chapter 1 is described in the outline above, write approximately 1,500 words, no fewer. And then it gives it ideas, right? And it's like includes smooth transitions, concrete examples, vivid details. If you don't want this, you could just go ahead and backspace that out, and now all of a sudden that is, edited forever. You also have a run button on each of these nodes. So if you only, like, let's say it generates everything and they're good, but one of them's bad, you can kind of tweak the prompt and just run only this one node. This one runs everything. That's how you would run one individual thing. Okay. Under here, you can see kind of what the entire outline is going to look like. So you could scroll through and read, chapter 1, what the whole chapter 1 looks like. If I was going to use, depending on my use case, I might actually edit the prompt above and say, do not say chapter 1 and name each chapter. But for now, we'll just leave this as is. You also can view output history. So if you tweak this prompt and you keep regenerating like different versions and you want to go see all your different versions, those are all going to be stored over in your history over here. And you can see how many credits you use to run that, and you can kind of scroll through. You can also see the prompt that you use to generate that. So as you change this prompt, and if you want to go look back at old prompts, you're able to do that as well. And then you also can see settings in here as well if you want to go and adjust some of the settings of the AI model. It's not super common, but that is an option that you have as well. Okay. So once you do that, what do? You go over to the design tab, right? Let's say you go and let's say you go review all of these different 6 sections. You can click the little outputs drop down to see what it generated. You can of course zoom in to go and read it a little bit better. But let's say you like all of those. You go over to the design tab. You make sure you like the look and feel. So you actually have the ability to click customize style at the top here. And we have a whole bunch of different templates and themes that you can kind of look at. If you click something like this green one, but you want to edit the look and feel, you can click customize colors and fields up here, and you have a lot of different colors that you could customize. For example, maybe this enter target audiences of the primary color. Maybe you want to make this look slightly different color. You can drag this around. And of course, the background, you could go and change that if you so wanted to. Okay, let's make it black just for fun. So the other thing you have the option to do is change the border radius on things if you want to make it look pilled. You can change the fonts to try a bunch of different fonts. that will all then kind of display inside of there. For the button styles, you have a whole bunch of different button style options. You also have, some different style input options for different of the variables that are on here. Let's say we do this. And then you also have the bar down here. You can change it to steps or, just a lot of different options there. Something else that a lot of people like is adding background images. I'm going to go ahead and add a background image here. Click upload. Once we upload that, this is a background image that will then appear. Now, probably wouldn't choose something traditionally that has text behind it, but this is just an example of what you can do. You got to set up how this whole tool is formatted. So here you can see it's automatically added the chapter outline that was generated into the document along with the other 6 chapter sections. And I would actually change that, right? Because you don't really want, if someone's generating a document, they don't really care what the chapter outline was. So we're going to go ahead and remove that here. You can kind of drop down and see what's inside of there. You can also, by the way, reorder all of these with a drag and drop. But we don't want kind of the chapter outline generator here. So I'm going to go ahead, click the X. It's now been removed. You can click the plus again if you want to add it back. If you have attachments, sometimes there's images generated. You can actually click and add them to an attachment bar here. Something else that you're able to do is click on documents. Let's say you want to make 2 documents, right? Maybe you wanted chapter 1, 2, 3 in one document and chapter 3, 4, 5 in another document. You can click this button to add new documents. And so I could just say new chapters, and all of the new documents can be added into here. I would then go back to outputs and see there's nothing in the new chapters document, but let's say I want to go and add these 3 sections. They've now been added. You could change the name of it too, by the way, up here. But if you're like, I'd love to publish this on the marketplace, you hit the publish button here and it opens up. You can see in here, it actually has a full example because when it ran through the full box, it kind of created the tool. So you can see a full example of what's going to be generated. You can also click auto generate and you can have it automatically generate, let's say our FAQ and our cover image. We'll go ahead and automatically generate that. So it's going to go ahead and fill out some, frequently asked questions. You can see it's kind of thinking right here on what it might want to do there. And it's also working on replacing my terrible banner image that I had previously uploaded. So we'll go ahead and let it do that. While it is, though, I do want to say I'll head over to the builder and just show you if you want to add anything manually, you got a couple options. You can click this AI button here and you can see all of the different AI models from image, text to speech, speech to text, video models. Let's say, I wanted to create a video using Sora 2 that was all of those different tools. I would click that. Now I have it right here. And by the way, you can collapse these if you want to make them a little smaller and more manageable. Sometimes they get a little out of control when you have tons of these different things. And then for the script, I would probably click variable input. Now I'll click the script and I'll link it as a variable input. So it's taking the script that was generated here and that's what it's reading. Now, this is probably not a great example because these Sora 2 credit and the Sora 2 video model isn't that great. And I think it actually, if you click over here, you can see some of the settings. So you can see the duration. It can only actually be up to 12 seconds long for these. So it wouldn't be able to read this whole thing. So you'd want something smaller, something under 12 seconds that you could pull in and have it read. If you really wanted to do a video model like this, then go over back to the publish. Let's see. It generated this image here of a document. And it's kind of funny. It kind of has the schedule or like the master thing there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chapters that it generated there. It's kind of funny. Honestly, it's not that bad. If we go down to the FAQ, what does this workflow do? What inputs do I need to provide? What outputs will I receive? What limits should I know before using it? So honestly, all in all, this is pretty awesome. The AI generator, you can also do other sections. You could do the icon, custom description, a lot of different things there. But in any case, this looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and publish this for real now. And you will probably be able to go find this if you type in this long title here somewhere on the marketplace to use and to generate articles with 6 chapters. And once you do that, it kind of runs and validates your box. It checks for content compliance, and then it also is going to generate your listing examples. You can then go click and view it in the builder select. So this is where I can see all the tools that I've personally created. And I can actually just go use this whenever I want. I can just click on use box, and even before it's on the marketplace, you could see kind of my fonts and my green color, and I could just go ahead and use this all I wanted. And so even if it didn't get published on the store, before it gets published on the store, it's there to use. You can also see some more elaborate ones I built recently. I have this one here that is gonna, it's helping me create 2-hour-long podcast sleep history videos. It's actually doing a very similar thing to the last one where it kind of creates an outline. It also then goes and creates image prompts and creates images that are then going to be used. So you can see all these like images being generated, all of them. Have a lot of them collapsed because it's a pretty crazy tool. But if you go over to the format section, you can see I have like a title and description document here that it generates. You can see all the different documents, a podcast script where it will have all of those sections generated, and then all of the images that are being generated. So I believe I was talking a little bit about this where you can actually switch this from a documents to an image type file. So here we now have, you could scroll through all the images that are being generated, and it's a little bit nicer for an image. Very, very cool. Let me know if you have any other questions.